People often imagine that discipline is a gift reserved for the extraordinary, for the born leaders, the naturally determined, the perfectly structured minds. They think achievement comes from luck, brilliance, or circumstances aligning like stars. But the truth is far brighter than that. Self-discipline is not a talent you inherit. It is a practice you choose. And anyone starting today can grow it from the ground up. It doesn't begin in perfect conditions. It doesn't wait for the ideal mood, the right season, or a sudden wave of inspiration. Discipline is born the moment you decide to keep moving, even when your mind whispers excuses. It's the choice to remain steady when comfort calls, to hold the line when distraction knocks, and to continue when shortcuts tempt you. True progress isn't built on fleeting bursts of motivation. It's built on deliberate, consistent action. Think about it. If you were to step into a dense jungle without a trail, how long before you started circling? That's what life feels like without a destination. You may be busy, you may be in motion, but forward momentum is impossible without a clear direction. A goal works like a guiding star at night. When you have one, your steps align. Your decisions stop being a tug-of-war with your willpower and instead become simple questions. Does this choice move me closer or pull me away? That clarity transforms every action into a step on the path, not a random move in the dark. But a goal is more than a wish. It must be vivid, precise, and powerful enough to ignite excitement inside you. If it's vague, you'll never know when you've arrived. But if it's sharp, you'll see progress in milestones, in victories you can celebrate along the way. How do you set one? Begin by asking yourself, what truly matters to you? Picture the life you would love to live years from now. Pick one area, health, career, relationships, creativity, and define it as a tangible target. If it's health, don't say, I want to be healthier. Say, I want to run a 5K by the end of summer. If it's finance, don't say, I want to save more. Say, I will save $5,000 within 12 months. The sharper the aim, the stronger the focus. Once the target is set, break it down. Big dreams feel heavy. Smaller steps feel doable. Want to read more? Begin with 10 pages a day. Want to learn an instrument? Commit to 15 minutes daily. Each completed step builds confidence, which fuels the next step and the next. Write your goal. Place it where you'll see it often. Let it greet you in the morning and steady you at night. A goal you can see becomes a compass you can follow when the road grows confusing. Now imagine this. You wake up tomorrow with a vision so clear that each choice, each small act, feels part of something greater. You're no longer wandering. Every hour holds purpose. Like a gardener tending seeds, you know today's care will bloom into tomorrow's harvest. This is the magic of goal-directed discipline. But even the brightest goal needs fuel, and that fuel is habit. Picture a river carving through stone. It doesn't happen through force in a single day. It happens drop by drop, by returning to the same path, again and again. That's the quiet strength of consistency. One action may seem small, but repeated daily, it reshapes everything. Habits are discipline made automatic. Instead of wrestling with your willpower, you simply act. Over time, the behavior becomes second nature, like walking, like breathing. And this is why so many people struggle. They wait for motivation to strike, when in reality, consistency is stronger than motivation. Motivation comes and goes like weather. Habits shine like the sun, steady, dependable, rising every day whether you feel ready or not. Start small. If you dream of better health, walk 10 minutes a day. If you want to expand your mind, read 5 pages before bed. Choose something so manageable that failing feels nearly impossible. Then, repeat it in the same context each day until your brain links that habit to that time or place. The trap many fall into is trying to change everything overnight. 10 new habits, all at once, only to collapse in exhaustion after a week. That's not discipline, that's burnout. Instead, master 1 or 2 small habits. Make them unshakable. Then add another. Patience is key. A habit is like planting a seed. For a while, it looks like nothing is happening. But beneath the soil, roots grow deep. Quit too soon, and you never see the sprout. Stay the course, and the first green shoots appear. In time, a mighty tree stands where once there was only soil. Even when life interrupts you, and it will, never call it failure. If you miss a day, start again the next. The secret is to avoid missing twice in a row. That's how you protect your momentum. Now imagine you begin with something simple, like writing 1 paragraph each morning. Weeks pass, and pages stack up. Months pass, and suddenly you're holding a body of work you never believed possible. All because you showed up, daily, with small consistent steps. That is the true essence of self-discipline. A vision, so clear it guides your choices, and habits, so steady they carry you even when your energy fades. Together, they transform what once felt impossible into the undeniable reality of your life. Imagine trying to catch 2 birds with one hand. You reach for one, then the other, and in the end you're left with nothing. This is what happens when we scatter our attention across too many things at once. Our energy is diluted, our focus divided, and instead of meaningful progress, we're left with fragments of effort and little to show for it. True discipline grows sharper when you dedicate yourself fully to one task at a time. Concentration is like sunlight through a magnifying glass. When scattered, it warms nothing. When focused, it burns through anything in its path. So many of us believe multitasking saves time, yet in reality it drains us. Each time your mind switches, it loses momentum. At the end of the day, you feel exhausted. But what have you actually finished? Instead, single tasking brings clarity. You finish, you complete, you move forward. The sense of completion itself becomes fuel for the next step. To build this focus, decide first what truly deserves your best energy. Not every task is equal. Begin with the one that moves you closest to your goal. Commit to it fully until it is done or until you've reached a clear stopping point. If distractions appear, remind yourself they can wait. This moment belongs to your main priority. Even your environment matters. A cluttered space pulls at your attention. A clean one clears your mind. Remove what competes for your focus, and notice how smoothly your thoughts flow when nothing is pulling you away. But focus also requires patience. The early stages of a task may feel slow. Impatience whispers, "Start something else," just so you feel productive. Resist that pull. The greatest progress comes from staying, enduring, and carrying your work to completion. This patience brings another benefit: quality. When your mind is divided, mistakes multiply. But when your attention is whole, details shine through, creativity flows, and your best effort rises naturally. Over time, you create not just results, but results worth remembering. Now consider this. Life will constantly test your focus, not only with outside distractions, but with requests from others. Invitations, opportunities, demands on your time. Many of them tempting, many of them harmless, but not all of them aligned with your path. This is where another skill comes in: the art of saying no. Think of your time as a vessel. If it is already full, you cannot pour anything new into it. Too often, people lose discipline not because they are lazy, but because they say yes too often. Each yes fills your schedule with things that don't truly matter, leaving little space for what does. Saying no is not selfishness, it is protection. Every yes is a trade, a piece of your energy, a piece of your life. If that trade doesn't serve your vision, it delays your progress. But many avoid saying no because they fear disappointment, fear of being seen as unfriendly or unhelpful. Yet in truth, each time you say yes to something meaningless, you are silently saying no to something meaningful. Over time, this drains your joy and exhausts your spirit. The way forward is clarity. Know your priorities. If a request aligns with your vision, consider it. If it doesn't, politely decline. You don't need to decide instantly. Pause, reflect, ask yourself, does this help me move forward? Does it match my values? That small pause can save you from months of regret. And sometimes, the hardest no is to yourself. It's turning down the easy distractions, the comfortable routines, the habits that keep you in place instead of pushing you forward. This is self-discipline at its highest form. Saying no to what you've outgrown, to create space for what you are becoming. At first, saying no may sting. You may feel guilt or wonder how others see you. But with practice, you'll notice something beautiful. More energy, more clarity, more time for the pursuits that truly matter. Picture this. You are chasing a dream that demands patience and focus. Along the way, invitations pull you toward hours of distraction. If you accept them all, your dream slows to a crawl. But if you guard your yes and your no with care, you remain on course. Months later, you stand closer to your vision, not because you worked harder than everyone else, but because you directed your energy with precision. That is the strength of focus and the courage of no. Together, they form a shield that protects your purpose. They give you back your most precious resource, time. And with that time, you build momentum that carries you far beyond where scattered energy could ever take you. Most people long for a path that feels smooth and easy, yet ease rarely builds strength. Muscles grow only when they're pushed beyond comfort. Minds expand only when they wrestle with what seems difficult. The truth is simple. Comfort keeps you the same. Challenge transforms you. Discipline strengthens in the very moments you'd rather step back. When you resist what feels uncomfortable, you also resist the lessons hidden inside. But when you lean into difficulty, when you take that step forward despite unease, you discover you are capable of more than you imagined. Discomfort isn't punishment. It is preparation. It is life's way of shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Think of a mountain trail. The climb demands more from your lungs and legs than the flat road, but it's the climb that builds endurance. In the same way, obstacles stretch your abilities. Without them, you stay at the same level, never discovering your true capacity. And here's the secret. You don't need to start with massive challenges. Begin small. If you usually avoid speaking in groups, try sharing a single sentence. If you shy away from learning something new, commit to one short lesson. Each small step whispers to your mind, I can handle this. Over time, that whisper becomes a roar of confidence. The first attempt will always feel awkward. That's natural, but discomfort fades with repetition. What once seemed impossible begins to feel normal. Growth works like that. What is heavy today becomes light tomorrow because you've grown stronger. It's important to remember, embracing discomfort doesn't mean chasing pain or seeking hardship for its own sake. It means choosing challenges that carry purpose, challenges that move you toward your vision, your values, your future. In time, you may even welcome discomfort. You'll stop fearing it and begin using it as a tool. That shift in perspective is powerful. While others run from difficulty, you'll walk toward it, unlocking opportunities hidden on the other side. Imagine someone terrified of public speaking. Their hands shake, their voice quivers. But instead of avoiding it forever, they choose to face it. They practice. They speak. It's not perfect, but they survive. Next time, the fear shrinks. After several tries, they're speaking with confidence. What once was a wall has become a doorway. That transformation happens only because they leaned into discomfort. But challenges aren't the only test. Life also throws setbacks, moments when plans unravel, when progress stalls, when the unexpected forces you to start again. Too often, setbacks are mistaken for failure. In reality, they are proof that you're moving, that you're trying, that you're alive in the pursuit of growth. Every obstacle holds information. It shows you what to adjust, where to strengthen, how to refine. A river doesn't stop when it meets a rock. It bends. It finds another way forward. You can too. The key is perspective. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" ask, "What can I learn from this?" That single shift turns frustration into curiosity, and curiosity keeps your discipline alive. Resilience is born in these moments. If life were always easy, you would never develop the power to rise again. It's in the fall and the rise that persistence is forged. Each recovery deepens your self-trust, reminding you, "I can endure more than I thought." After a setback, honesty is essential. Reflect without judgment. Was it lack of preparation? Was it an outside event beyond control? Was it a rushed decision? Each answer offers guidance for next time. Sometimes the lesson is simply this: a new path is required. What worked before may not work now, and that's okay. The most disciplined aren't those who never stumble. They're the ones who adapt. They treat each challenge as a chance to improve their plan, their skill, their mindset. Over time, setbacks transform from walls into stepping stones. Each one adds to your knowledge and shapes you into someone ready for the next level. Imagine this. You've been chasing a dream for months. Suddenly, the opportunity you counted on disappears. At first, disappointment feels heavy. But instead of quitting, you analyze. You adapt. You take a new route. Months later, you realize the new path carried you further than the original ever could. The setback that once seemed like an ending became the turning point of your success. That is the hidden gift of setbacks and discomfort. They are not signs to stop. They are invitations to grow. And when you start seeing them this way, when every challenge becomes training, every setback becomes wisdom, discipline stops feeling like a burden. It becomes your ally. It becomes the steady force that carries you, not in spite of the obstacles, but because of them. Picture a farmer planting seeds in spring. He doesn't rush back the next morning expecting fields of golden crops. He understands nature's rhythm, that growth requires care, time, and steady attention. Life operates under the same principle. The greatest achievements rarely appear overnight. They emerge after patience, persistence, and belief. Many abandon their goals too quickly because results don't come instantly. When the reward doesn't appear on schedule, they trade the long-term prize for short-term comfort. But this is where true discipline shines, in the ability to delay gratification, to choose tomorrow's harvest over today's snack. Delaying gratification doesn't mean denying joy. It means exchanging shallow, fleeting pleasures for deeper satisfaction that lasts. It's saying, "I'll invest in the bigger reward because I trust the process." This trust is at the heart of discipline. Without it, temptations will always win. But with it, you build the muscle of patience, a muscle that grows stronger every time you choose the future over the moment. It begins with small choices. You resist the urge to spend on something meaningless and instead save towards something life-changing. You invest an hour in learning instead of scrolling endlessly. Each time you do this, you train yourself to value long-term fulfillment more than short-lived comfort. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. At first, waiting feels uncomfortable. The mind craves quick results. But with repetition, patience transforms into confidence. You prove to yourself, "I can hold steady. I can stay the course." And this is powerful because it builds self-trust. When you consistently keep promises to your future self, you stop doubting your ability to follow through. You know that even when temptation arises, you can endure. That kind of trust is priceless. It's the foundation of resilience and ambition. Remember, waiting doesn't mean doing nothing. While you wait for the harvest, you water the soil, clear the weeds, nurture the growth. In life, you keep working steadily, even when the results haven't appeared yet. The farmer doesn't dig up the seeds in frustration. He continues with faith. So should you. The struggle is real at the start, because immediate rewards are easy to grab. They sparkle with quick satisfaction, but look closely, they fade just as fast. Meanwhile, the greater rewards, the ones you've waited and worked for, carry depth, meaning, and pride that stay with you for years. Imagine you dream of traveling to a distant place. You could spend your savings each month on small treats, dinners out, gadgets, little luxuries. They'd bring moments of fun, but the money would vanish quickly. Or you could choose patience. You could set aside that same money month after month. At first, it feels like sacrifice. But a year later, you're standing on the very soil you once only dreamed of. You hear the sounds, smell the air, and see the sights with your own eyes. That joy is richer than any fleeting indulgence you passed up along the way. This is the reward of patience. It transforms the act of waiting into a source of strength. And here's another truth. Every time you practice delayed gratification, you reshape your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who quits early or takes shortcuts. Instead, you become someone who follows through, who keeps going until the finish line is crossed. That identity carries you to even greater goals. Patience also protects you from discouragement. When you expect instant success, every delay feels like failure. But when you understand the value of waiting, you see delays as part of the process. Instead of giving up, you continue with faith, knowing that time is on your side. Think of great builders, inventors, artists. None of their masterpieces appeared in a single day. They endured years of trial, error, and effort. Their reward came not only from the final result, but from the growth they experienced along the way. Now, imagine applying this mindset to your own life. You commit to a vision, health, learning, building, creating. Instead of rushing, you embrace the journey. Each small step becomes a victory, because you know it is carrying you towards something lasting. Each choice to wait, each decision to hold steady, strengthens you. One day, you'll look back and see what patience built, and you'll realize something incredible. The waiting was never empty. It was shaping you all along, preparing you for the very reward you desired. That is the true power of delayed gratification. It transforms ordinary patience into extraordinary results. It turns discipline into freedom. And it proves that the greatest joys in life are worth the time, the effort, and the wait. Take a small plant and place it in the shadows. It grows weak, reaching desperately for light. Move it to the sun, nourish it with care, and it grows tall and strong. Human beings are not so different. The environment we choose and the people we surround ourselves with can either weaken our discipline or help it thrive. We often believe our habits are fully our own, but in truth, they are deeply shaped by what surrounds us. Spend enough time with people who drift without purpose, and you'll start lowering your standards without realizing it. Spend time with people who aim high and live with intention, and their energy becomes contagious. Discipline stops being rare. It becomes normal. This is why your circle matters. Your surroundings either drain your drive or amplify it. Think about it. When you're around people who push themselves, you feel inspired to do the same. Their example shows you what's possible. Their encouragement fuels you when your own energy feels low. Just by sharing space with them, you're reminded of the discipline required to stay consistent. On the other hand, too much time spent with those who avoid effort can slowly pull you backward, not because they intend harm, but because their habits influence yours. Discipline, like enthusiasm, spreads in both directions. That's why choosing your company is an act of self-discipline. It doesn't mean cutting people out of your life completely. It means intentionally spending more time with those who lift you higher, who make you want to rise. And it's not only about people you already know. Sometimes, you must step outside your current environment to find those who inspire you. This might mean joining a group, attending an event, or simply reaching out to someone you admire. Often, people who live with discipline are open to sharing what they know with those who are sincere and eager to learn. Once you find these connections, treat them like treasures. Nurture them with honesty, respect, and consistency. Strong relationships become gardens of mutual growth. Your effort inspires theirs, and their consistency inspires yours. There's also another benefit: accountability. When you see others keeping promises to themselves, you feel a quiet pressure to do the same. You don't want to be the one who breaks the chain. That accountability pulls you forward even on days when your willpower feels thin. Consider this. A runner training alone may quit early on a cold morning, but a runner training with a group shows up, not wanting to let the team down. Over time, the miles pile up, the endurance builds, and the discipline becomes second nature. The same applies to your own journey. Surround yourself with disciplined people, and their presence becomes a steady force pulling you along. But remember, influence flows both ways. Just as others can lift you, you can lift them. Your own example, your own consistency, can inspire those around you. Discipline is not just personal, it can be shared. A circle of committed people creates momentum greater than any individual could achieve alone. Imagine this. You join a small group of creators, builders, or learners who meet regularly to support each other. At first, you feel nervous, maybe even doubtful. But as weeks pass, you notice something powerful. On days when you feel strong, you encourage others. On days when you feel weak, their presence keeps you going. The group becomes more than community, it becomes a force. Together, you rise further and faster than you ever could alone. This is the gift of environment. Just as a plant needs the right soil, water, and light, you need the right surroundings, habits, and relationships. When these align, your discipline doesn't just survive, it flourishes. And here's the beauty. Once you've built such an environment, discipline becomes easier. It stops being a daily struggle and starts feeling like a natural rhythm. You no longer push against resistance alone. You flow with a current that carries you forward. So choose carefully. Protect your environment the way a gardener protects young plants. Be intentional about who and what you allow to influence you. Because in the end, your environment is not just where you live, it is what shapes who you become. And when you align yourself with people, spaces, and habits that fuel your growth, you create a life where discipline feels less like effort and more like momentum. A life where progress becomes inevitable. A life where your potential is no longer just imagined, it is lived. A traveler crossing a desert can endure the heat, the thirst, and the endless sand if he can still see the mountain he is moving toward. But if the mountain disappears from sight, every step feels heavier. Life works the same way. Without a vision guiding you, discipline weakens. Each task starts to feel like a burden instead of a choice. Your vision is more than a dream. It is the picture of the life you are creating, the reason behind your effort, the fire that fuels your persistence. Discipline is not about forcing yourself endlessly. It's about connecting to a purpose strong enough to carry you forward. That purpose answers the question, why am I doing this? Without an answer, work feels empty. With an answer, even slow progress becomes meaningful. Keeping your vision alive means making it part of your daily life. It's not enough to think of it once in a while. It must become a constant reminder, a compass that directs your decisions. The sharper and more vivid your vision is, the easier it will be to hold on to when challenges appear. A vague dream fades quickly. A clear, detailed picture stays bright in your mind. One way to strengthen your vision is to write it in detail. Describe it as though it already exists. The sights, the feelings, the changes it brings to your life. Read it often, especially at the start of the day, so your focus begins fresh and strong. Another way is to place symbols of your vision where you'll see them regularly. A note, a picture, an object with meaning. Anything that silently pulls you back on track. Each reminder whispers, "This is where you're headed. Stay the course." And remember, your vision should reach beyond simple comfort. If it's only about making life easier, it won't inspire you for long. The strongest visions connect to growth, contribution, or something greater than yourself. When your vision benefits others as well as you, it becomes more powerful. Meaning fuels discipline better than any rule or routine. As you grow, your vision will evolve. This isn't failure, it's progress. It shows that you're learning, refining, discovering what truly matters. The key is to keep shaping it so it always reflects your deepest values. On days when discipline feels heavy, looking at your vision can reignite the spark. It can remind you of the excitement you felt at the beginning. That memory alone can be enough to help you take the next step, even if it's small. And once you take that step, momentum returns. Without vision, you risk drifting, pulled in every direction by events and other people's plans. With vision, every action connects to something larger. Progress is measured not just by what you've done, but by how much closer it brings you to the life you imagine. Imagine building a home. At first, there's only an empty plot of land. The work is slow, digging, stacking, lifting. Some days it feels endless. But you carry a detailed image of the finished house in your mind. The walls, the windows, the way the morning sun pours in. That image keeps you steady. Even when the ground is rough or the walls are half finished, you keep going. And one day, you stand inside the house you once saw only in your imagination. That is the power of vision. It gives weight to effort, direction to action, and strength to persistence. When combined with everything else, habits, focus, patience, community, resilience, vision becomes the thread that ties your journey together. It transforms scattered actions into a purposeful life. So here is the invitation. Hold your vision close. Protect it. Nourish it. Let it guide your choices when distractions tempt you. Let it carry you when challenges arise, and let it remind you, day after day, why your discipline matters. Because, in the end, discipline is not about restriction. It's about freedom. The freedom to create the life you want, to rise above limitations, to fulfill the potential planted inside you. And that freedom comes not from waiting for the perfect moment, not from talent alone, but from steady steps, clear vision, and the unshakable belief that your future is worth the effort. So keep moving, keep building, keep holding the mountain in your sight. Every step, no matter how small, brings you closer. And when you arrive, you'll realize something profound. The discipline that carried you there has already transformed you into the person capable of living that vision fully. That is the journey. That is the power. And that is the life waiting for you when you choose discipline as your guide.